Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pony Montana, and in this video we're going to be going over the best ability point setup if you guys want to dominate in the man coverage meta that is still going on in Madden 23. Now, before I get into it, if you guys could do me the favor of liking the video, subscribing if you are new, and commenting anything down below, especially if you are struggling with anything in Madden. For the next couple days, man, we're going to be doing just these AP setup videos because I'm feeling under the weather. So thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, I appreciate it. But again, like the video, subscribe, and comment. Doesn't matter what it is, or just comment FTA because you guys already know the vibes. It's for the algorithm. So AP setup for those of you guys who are running man coverage, we have, if you guys watched, okay, before I start off with the AP setup, I did a video on man coverage and the two ways that people run man coverage. We have the way of rocking our safeties manned up to the outside corners, or excuse me, the outside receivers typically. And then we have the opposite way where our safeties are going to sit there and pretty much be, you know, play those outside routes as well as they possibly can. Now, with that being the case, we have Mike Haynes here and we have Steve Atwater. And you might be wondering why I have Steve Atwater here. Well, because if you're rocking man coverage, you're going to need deep out zone KOs as well. It's not the same as the zone coverage. It's somewhat similar, but it's not the same simply because the route KO abilities are a little bit more expensive depending on who it is that you're rocking. Now, one thing that I did not mention in yesterday's video when I went over the zone abilities is archetypes. Now, each player has a specific archetype which changes the amount of ability points that it costs for you to put a certain ability on. So for Night Train Lane, who's a man coverage archetype, it's going to cost 3 AP to rock deep route KO. Now, he is man coverage, so it's also going to cost him 3 AP for medium zone KO, 4 AP for deep out zone, and 4 AP for deep in because, you know, he's a man coverage archetype. If he was a zone, these would lower to 2. So this would be 2 AP, this would be 2 AP, and this would be 2 AP. For now, certain players, if you guys don't know, if you guys don't play Madden Ultimate Team, certain players get discounted abilities. And if you guys are trying to run man coverage, there are a ton of players who get a bunch of abilities discounted. And I'm only going to utilize 2 of them in this video because they're free players. So if you guys don't have them already, make sure you guys have that Deion Sanders here. And I've taken the liberty of moving him up to free safety already. And I'm using Isaiah Pola-Mao. Don't know if I pronounced that right, but he gets deep route KO for 2 AP because he's a hybrid strong safety. I don't know if this is the normal, but it makes him one of the better players in the game still, simply because he gets pick artist for 1 and that deep route KO for 2 AP. Now, we're going to utilize that pick artist. Well, you don't even need to utilize pick artist. Pick artist to me is like a last resort thing if you're trying to just make sure that that the ball is being knocked out, but it will save you ability points if you do not utilize that pick artist. If you guys have something like tip drill or something like that, you can utilize those. Now, the main 3 guys that are going to be manned up on people, it doesn't matter what scheme you guys are in, it's going to be Deion here, Night Train Lane, and then Isaiah Pola-Mao. So what do you guys want on these guys? You guys want to make sure that they are knocking the ball out as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and put deep route KO on our safety here, or excuse me, our cornerback that's going to be moved up to safety. Our other cornerback that's going to be moved up to safety depending on what your ability point system looks like. Right now, I already have a strong safety because he gets the ability that I'm looking for, which is deep route KO. So these guys are going to have deep route KO, both of them. And then our slot cornerback is going to end up with medium route KO. So he's either going to have medium route KO or deep route KO. If you can find a combination of the 2, depending on how many coins you have or how much of a God Squad team you have, then that's going to work wonders for you. And then on our 2 outside cornerbacks, or our safety that we move down to cornerback, we're going to have deep out zone KO. And this is currently the meta setup for when it comes to playing man defense. Now, you might have noticed that I have 7 out of 12 AP left, and there's a couple things that you guys can do to kind of make this a little bit better for you. I would suggest that you put pick artist or tip drill on the rest of the players. So Deion Sanders, he gets pick artist discounted, but in the same slot that we have the deep route KO discounted. So we're gonna go ahead and put tip drill on him instead, because it's essentially the same thing as pick artist, especially if you're getting those passes tipped. Then you got Isaiah Polamau, same thing. You put pick artist on him, it's for 1 AP. Pick artist on Mike Haynes, it's for 1 AP. And the guys that you can't put pick artist on for 1 AP, you're going to want to put tip drill on for that 1 AP. So somebody like Night Train Lane, he's got that medium route KO, and he also gets pick artist for 0 AP. So that saves us ability points regardless of how we set up our defense. But again, if you're running man coverage, this setup is going to work wonders for you. So we're going to go ahead and put, so we got deep out zone KO on him. So we're going to go ahead and put tip drill on him instead. So boom, he's got deep out zone KO and tip drill. Then we're going to go ahead and set up with Mike Haynes. Mike Haynes gets deep out zone KO and pick artist for 1 AP. So if you have the choice between pick artist and tip drill, you're going to always go pick artist because it helps you intercept passes. And why wouldn't you take advantage of that? So there we go. We have those guys with those abilities, and now our abilities are set. You don't really need to change anything up because we have our deep route KOs on our guys, and then we have our Night Train Lane with our medium route KO and our pick artist. These outside guys are going to be in deep blues or in very, very high zone depth cloud flats. So they're going to be in like soft squats or cloud flats with very, very high, whether it's going to be like 20 to 25 yard cloud flats where they're going to be there to help, somebody like Night Train Lane, if he lets a guy, move across him, and it's going to mess up his route running or whatever the case may be. So we want a guy out there to be able to knock that ball out if the situation calls for it. So again, we have our 2 safeties that are going to be manned up, our 2 cornerbacks on the outside, they're going to be in deep blues or deep safe or deep corners or clouds, and then our slot cornerback that's going to also have that. Now, there's one thing that could potentially change this whole setup, and that is if you guys are rocking with two nickel cornerbacks, not 2 nickels. Why am I saying nickel? Like if you're in a dime package or a dollar package, you're gonna have 2 safeties, or 2 cornerbacks that are gonna be either blitzing, or you could potentially man those guys up. And if that's the case, you're gonna want to take pick artist off of one of these players. It doesn't matter who. You're going to want to take off pick artist off of one of these guys. And then with this extra 1 ability point that we have, we'll end up saving 1 ability point. So let's go ahead and take this off of Isaiah. And if you guys have a team that resembles mine in any way, you guys are going to be able to rock this. But I suggest that you rock this out of like a nickel formation, so you don't have to utilize this extra AP on another medium route KO. So your 2 slot guys, the guys that are guarding the guys in the slot, make sure that they have medium route KOs. And then the guys that are going to be manned up to those guys that are on the outside, make sure that they have deep route KO, while we have our outside cornerbacks with deep out zone. This is possibly the best setup for man coverage. Again, when you're selling out to stop the pass, you're going to not have any abilities on the D-line. The only people that I'd ever have abilities on the D-line right now are your defensive tackles. Why? Because there's no edge protectors when it comes to defensive tackles. So these guys will end up getting, these guys will end up having their double or nothing go crazy if you have them in the interior. So if you guys want me to go over that in a separate video, I will do so to try to find the best little cocktail setup when it comes to defensive tackles, because everyone is rocking edge protectors, and that's why the edge threat / double or nothing meta just kind of went out of the window. So yeah, this is pretty much it for man defense. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. This is possibly the best setup for man coverage. Even with the team that I have, even with the team that you might have, these are all the discounted abilities that you could get for free pretty much. So Deion Sanders and Isaiah are 2 of the best players for that type of situation. And my name is Pony Montana. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.